I'm going to try this modification, and fingers crossed, all is good. But I'm just trying to show you the reality of restoration. I have cut the belly pan. It's really starting to come together. Finally starting to look like a scooter once again. Now I know you guys are probably aching to hear this run, and I have had it running. Just giving this a little bit of a Scotch Brite, just to give it a key for the primer. I don't know if you can just pick up there a couple of little imperfections within the gel coat. So I will just go over this with a little bit of spotting filler, and hopefully that'll be ready for some primer, and get this into some nice white, and at least that is the spoiler all done, ready to go on as and when we're ready to do so. A closer look of the fitment of the belly pan. This is the best I've got it fitted so far. But as you can see, this gap needs to be, well, this part here needs to be against here. And you can see the shape, which should match this. So what I might have to do is slit it down the center here, which hopefully pulls either side over. If not, worst case, I'm actually have to cut this completely in half, bond each side so it fits correctly, and make some brackets and probably rivet them together, and then fiberglass over the top to make it one piece once again. So it is unfortunate. It should be fitting a lot cleaner than this, and I don't really want to have to leave it like this. I mean, the big old gap. It's a shame, because otherwise it fits along here really nicely now. And I have removed the rear panels because I want to get these in paint. But once this is bolted up and you have a fixing through here into the back bit there, this isn't going to be a problem. It fits well. It's just this front. I don't know if it's shrunk slightly in production, but yeah, you can just about see the line it needs to follow here, and it's too far forwards. But yeah, more fiberglassing. So this is in filler primer, and you can now see plenty more of the imperfections, some holes in the gel coat all around the edges. So I'll mix up some filler. I'll just fill these little imperfections in, get it in grey primer, and that'll be ready for some white paint. Here we have the wing guys. All the imperfections are now filled in and smoothed over. So I can now get that in some grey primer as mentioned, and get that painted in its base colour. And speaking of that, this is now, or one of, the other one is just there. One of the wings is done. This has had 3 coats of base and 3 coats of Body Shop lacquer, and it's gone on really well. So I'll let this dry, and I will move on to this one, and as just mentioned, the wing. And that should be the back end, all painted, ready to be bolted on. Okay then guys, so I am back after a week away with work. So, a couple of parcels. Let me show you what I got. New grips. In the end, I did decide to go with green, because these grey ones just don't go with anything. Originally, the idea was to go silver and black, just like the 86. But obviously, I went with the 7-Up livery, or will be 7-Up livery design instead. So, as much as I like this design here, these have got to go. Also, I forgot I had these. These are some green donuts, just to protect the inside of your hands. And I was going to use these on these grips, just on the inside here, but these grips are actually too thick for the internal diameter of these. So I have them. I could maybe put them on here, but I don't know. They literally cost me a couple of quid, so found those also. But what I'm most excited about is my little plush Fido Dido doll from the very early 90s. Now this finishes off the little sort of display that I've got going on in here. I've got the original 80s 7-Up little flask, and now got a doll to match. So yeah, something a little bit silly for shows, but that's going to be his new home. And since I've been away, this is cured. It does need a really good flat back and polish. I've inserted the lock, which was easy enough. You would have seen previously. It's just a matter of that little fork slots in, holds it in place. But yeah, it's not perfect. There's a couple of tiny little bits of dust and stuff, but I'm hoping with a flat and polish, most of it should come out. But yeah, that's one side. So just this one to do. And the spoiler. By the looks of it, if I get some focus, all the little blemishes have now disappeared. So that is also going to be ready for some paint. I also have this, so slightly different design. If you remember, made this little mat here, and it wasn't quite wide enough because I bought it. It was a Halfords product, and it just came as 14 inches wide. I needed that little bit larger, or wider, sorry. So I've bought this, and this is going to be long enough and wide enough, and I quite like this little design. But once again, if I choose to, I can use the underside. So this time I'm going to make a full template, not just half, and use that and cut this one out as best as I can so it fits perfectly. So there is the template made, guys. I went really close to the edge and tried to get the curvature as best I can, so that should be a perfect pattern. So I'll peel that off, stick it down on here, mark it out with a pen, and I can cut that out as neat as I can. Now, with regard to the belly pan, I don't know if you can sort of see this shape. You can see where, just like on the left hand side, it's slightly pulling down. Now, if I pull on that black mark in the centre, if I pull that towards me, it opens these out, that point there and that point there, about 1/2 inch. Now, when I measured the inside of here to the other side, it is 9.5 inches. At the moment, that to that is exactly 9. So what's happened is this centre bit is pulled in, bringing those bits in, hence why it doesn't fit. So what I'm thinking of doing is making a slit, probably about halfway down in the centre there. And when I go to fit it again, I'm hoping that'll allow these two bits just to open up enough where it'll fit flush. And then I can make a little bracket to bolt it to the frame under here, as I previously mentioned. And then a couple of little self-tappers just in there and in there, which will bolt to the back of here. I have cut the belly pan. I did say I wanted to go about halfway, but as I was pulling this apart, it wasn't flexing enough. It wasn't giving me the distance required, so I have had to go pretty much all the way to the bottom. But yeah, it opens up enough, hopefully, for me to be able to get it on and fit well. So by relieving this, you can see there, it now opens up lovely, which gives me the width required for it to fit and all of these to line up correctly to the front panel. So now I've done that, I'll give this a go. If I'm happy with the fitment, I'll make a little brace to hold it into position. I will brace it at the back and then also fiberglass it and smooth this over, and hopefully you'll never know that that's been made. So yeah, I'll test for that. Let's see what we got. So with the arrival of the larger jets, I went ahead and removed the carburetor. And as you can see here, I'm just removing the bowl. Easy enough with the removal of the 4 screws at the bottom. Just be careful just to make sure there's no residual fuel in the bowl, which there wasn't. And you can see just here, that is the main jet. So using a flathead screwdriver, or I think it's a 7mm, you can remove it. I just used a flathead and it simply pulls out. And the one that came with it is an 80. And we'll be swapping this out for a 102. That's what I've decided to go with, as you can see there. Just the opposite of removal. Just put it back in to the jet, screw it in so it's secure. And once I was happy, as you can see there, I then continued to refit the bowl. I tend to do these up in a diagonal form just to make sure that the gasket is seated nice and flat. I didn't over tighten them. I'm not sure if there's a torque spec, but I just made sure that I was happy that the gasket was compressed, and that is now ready to go back on the scooter. Starting with the fuel feed hose, it just locates on the rear corner and is held securely with a little pinch clip. I then fit the needle, and this goes into a slot. There's only one way to fit this, and to compress the spring and hold it in place with this cap, which I like to make sure is nice and secure. Bolts can then be fed, making sure the gasket is on the manifold, and then 2 M10 nuts with the spring washers just to secure it into place, and then finally the choke cable. This is also secured. I then go ahead and refit the new old stock clutch cover gasket, which I found on eBay, followed by the clutch cover itself. And once again, I don't tend to use torque specs when tightening these bolts. I just go opposites to make sure it fits evenly, and just pinch the bolts until I'm happy that it's secured. I then finish this job off by fitting the new air filter, which now clears the spring, as this is a 45 degree. The wing is all painted, 2 coats of lacquer. It's gone on really well as always. Got the little heater on. I'll leave that to dry and cure for a couple of days. But yeah, another piece done. It is literally now just this rear wing, but I think I'm gonna have to go and buy some more paint. I don't like using the white, which is the base, all the way to the end as it starts spitting. So it's only a couple of quid into my local motor factors. So yeah, I'll go and grab some of that, and then I can get on and paint that also. And at this point, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of those who have subscribed recently, who have commented on my videos, and also shared some nice words and some advice. It really does mean a lot. It's just a small channel, and it's just a guy tinkering in his shed with random Japanese things that he likes. But I do massively, massively appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It's completely free. It helps me out loads. Gives me that little bit of a boost just to do a bit more. On this project, I appreciate it's a little bit tedious in places, but I'm just trying to show you the reality of restoration. I am particular to a degree, but also I am having issues, as you're aware. Speaking of issues, I have to thank one of the guys called Matt, who is on the Gensuki group. He randomly messaged me and was like, "Are your lights still not working?" I was like, no. He had the same issue. So yeah, I'm gonna go and take a look and I'll show you guys what it is, and fingers crossed, now we can start the bike because we have fitted the larger jet. If the switch doesn't work, I'm going to try this modification, and fingers crossed, all is good. The other side panel is now painted. This is now dry. I did it a few hours ago. Just like the other one, there are a couple of little tiny blemishes, which I need to try and flat out and polish. But otherwise, considering it's all rattle canned, really happy with the result. And I think once I've designed some graphics and put the graphics on, you're not really going to see them anyway, but really happy with the outcome. The wing is all nice and dry, and to be fair, extremely smooth, considering I haven't flatted this back and polished it. Out of the can, it's really good, and as I've mentioned before, I cannot recommend the Body Shop lacquer highly enough. It's so good, straight out the can, amazing. The template is done and is now stuck on the mat. I'm now just to cut this with a Stanley blade. I've double checked this template and I'm happy with all the curves and all the distances. It fits really well. Now with this, I'm possibly going to use the same dye that I used to paint the seat. So I bought another can and I think I'm going to paint this. And I know it is a slightly darker green than this green here, but I think it will be really nice to have that. I do like the black, I didn't mind it, but I just like the fact that it's all consistent with the white and green. It's just really clean and it just goes well with the theme that I'm going for. So I will cut this out. I will dye it in the green, and that's another thing done. I will then fit these side panels and we can get this running, and hopefully all the lights work with that new switch installed. And if not, I will carry out that modification which Matt has told me to have a go at, and fingers crossed it all goes well. Fit the grips, much happier with those. They go really well with the green, much more consistent. The grey just stood out too much, so yeah, really happy with those. And what I'm thinking of doing, I didn't want to paint this mirror, either the green or the white, but what I might do is actually change this Napoleon for the green. So that might be something that I do, but that's just a very small detail. The belly pan, you can see here that I've cut a little bit more material away. This is just where the frame sits, just so it doesn't push out here, because where it was pushing it out, it was producing a bit of a gap here against the front panel, which, to be fair, I think I'm going to have anyway, no matter how well this fits. It's just the way these parts are made. It has slightly split at the bottom, which I was aware was going to happen, but as mentioned, this will be fiberglassed on the inside and will be really strong, so I'm not worried about that. You can also see that it's stayed in its position, so where I've test fitted it, it's actually opened up and it's remained that shape. So now you can really see the gap that I required from here to here, where this was too small. So I think this opens up just a little bit more once it's on the scooter. I worked it out, it's about 1/2 inch, which I suppose is quite a lot. But yeah, this is definitely going to help. So with regards to fitting it, I don't think I'm going to do the bracket idea in the center here, because I've done all this now. It's not really going to be as strong. So I can either secure it here, which a lot of the guys do. You will see the head of the bolt, but I should be able to get those little plastic white caps, so it's not really going to be that noticeable. So that is one option. Another idea which I have seen on an image of a scooter on one of the Facebook scooter groups, is that someone has secured it inside here, which is a really nice idea and a lot less noticeable. So I have a couple of options, but what I think I'm going to do first, now these are painted, I'm going to get these rear panels on. I'm going to make sure that it's fitting correctly at the back and just get it fitted. So then I know that all I have to concentrate on is getting the front fitting nice. But I'm happy with this. I think this is going to work. And once I'm happy, as mentioned, I'll mark it and secure it into place, fiberglass the back, make sure it's strong, and then hopefully that will fit nice and I can get this in paint, and I've completed then all of the painting that this scooter requires. Another little custom purchase is this 7-Up flag. As you guys might be aware, I've been running this little Japanese flag, but I wanted to make this as 7-Up as it could possibly be. This is off a company called Banner Buzz, and I just sent them this image and they've printed it on a small flag. And I have had a larger one made. Hasn't come out as well, but also I think it's just too big for the scooter. It's quite a big difference. But I have two if needs be. I could always run this at the back, to be fair, if I choose to. But I'm going to run this small one. So all I need to do is remove the wire out of these clips, slide it into this flag, and then secure that there. So just remove the fan and its cover, and that's so I can fit this titanium heat wrap here. It's still very close to the bottom of this cover, so I just want to make sure it's not going to melt it. So I was given this by John and just secured it in place. And to be fair, I really like the look of this exhaust wrap, I must admit. But also, whilst this is off, I need to get to this so I can fit this tool to hold it in place, because I completely forgot. I now have to remove the clutch cover. But yeah, I completely forgot that I wanted to remove 3 of the rollers, because I'm running 13 gram rollers. I'm aware that that's probably going to be too heavy, especially for the initial takeoff of the scooter. So yeah, I'm going to remove 3 of those. So yeah, I had to remove this anyway. So I'll do that now. I'll take off the clutch cover, take out 3 rollers, get that fitted. And once all that is put back into place, I'm then definitely confident that I don't need to access anything down here. And I'll get these fitted. There you go, guys. 3 rollers, 3 removed. Easy enough. Then this goes back on like so. Make sure you got the boss. Easy as that. Now hopefully that should run a little bit better. Really starting to come together. Finally starting to look like a scooter once again. The rear panels are now fitted, easy enough. The seat is now fitted and secured perfectly. For those of you that are unaware, these catches no longer available from Honda. So I actually made this, and I have got spares. I think I have about 3 or 4 spares, and I also supply the fittings. So if you guys require one of those, just let me know and I'll see if I can help you out. But otherwise, works perfectly. So really happy with that. Let's get the spoiler on. Went straight on and looks so good. Really happy with the lines. Flows lovely at the bottom here, all the way across. And around the rear light. Fits so well. Really, really happy with this. I quite like the little detail of the anodized green bolt. And I might buy more of these actually and use these if I do decide to fit the belly pan and go in from here. I may use the same ones. I actually don't mind it being on show, to be fair, if they're the anodized green. I really like them, and it's just another small detail to break away from the white. So I may order some more. So now that's fitted, let's get the rack on and have this looking a little bit more like a delivery scooter. Here we are, guys. It's really starting to come together. Other than the belly pan, this is all the panels fitted, and they fit really well. The engine looks extremely clean, really happy with how that come out. Now I know you guys are probably aching to hear this run, and I have had it running. Now we've got the jet in, I just need to put some fresh fuel in it. I'm sure it will start on the button as it did previously. I'm hoping that the lights will then work. If not, I will carry out that modification, which I was told about, to the plug. And I will show you guys that if I need to go to that extent, I will show you exactly what I did to allow these lights to work, because he had exactly the same issue. The graphics, I'm yet to sit down and design. I'm not sure what you guys think. Shall I go minimalistic and just have a couple of small stickers? Or do you think I should go a bit crazy and go larger? I'll be mixing up between the 1980s, which is this logo here, and then the slightly, I think this is 70s, into the 80s logo with the red. I quite like that because it resembles the Japanese flag with the white and the red. With the front, I'm thinking maybe just a small 7-Up logo at an angle here on the corner. Maybe use a small one here at the front of the mudguard. I'm not quite sure. I think I prefer the idea of more of a simplistic approach. But as I said, I'd like to hear what you guys think. And if you have any ideas, please feel free to send them over to me. I'll add my Instagram into the description. And once again, I appreciate all of you watching these videos. And I'm just as excited to get this started and hopefully running all perfectly as you are. And I'll do that in the next video. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.